Welcome to WILDLIFEx. In this video we are going to talk about the top 10 mythical sea creatures. So before starting this video, like this video, and subscribe to WILDLIFEx for future updates. The ocean has always held a fascination for humans. After all, we still don't know exactly what lies under the waters, that cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface. So it's no surprise that storytellers throughout history have filled those dark waters with all kinds of giant ocean creatures, ready to wreak havoc on the surface world at a moment's notice, from ancient mythologies to modern monster movies. Some of these mythic sea monsters are so enormous that they can easily destroy entire cities, while others are no larger than the animals that live in the world's oceans, yet they have both captivated human imagination over time. From the mists of prehistory to the silver screen of the last few decades, here are a few of our favorite sea monsters. What are a few of your personal favorites? Cthulhu. It wouldn't be a true sea monster list without including at least a couple of H.P. Lovecraft's squamous creatures that live under the waves. Cthulhu is the old gent's most popular invention, resembling an octopus, a dragon, and a human caricature, according to Lovecraft. Cthulhu waits dreaming in his house in the sunken city of R'yeh, according to Lovecraft's work, but there will be trouble when he wakes up. Dagon. Though Cthulhu is the most well-known sea monster in Lovecraft's work, he is far from the only one. Dagon is an actual deity from ancient times who is not only mentioned in some of Lovecraft's most famous stories. The esoteric order of Dagon plays a major role in The Shadow over Innsmouth, but also has his own story, and lent his name to Stuart Gordon's 2001 Lovecraftian film, despite that film having more in common with The Shadow over Innsmouth than with Lovecraft's own. Abira. Toho built a cottage industry by releasing films starring their homegrown giant radioactive monster, Godzilla, starting in 1954. Godzilla has faced several attacks over the years, including those that came from the sea. Godzilla is a sea monster, after all. But for a list of sea monsters, why not start with the creature that inspired the 1966 film Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster? Abira is a giant crustacean who is dominated by the evil Red Bamboo organization in the film. Abira reappears in both Monsters Attack and then Godzilla Final Wars, thanks to the magic of stock footage. Abira has a superficial resemblance to Ganymedes, a mutant stone crab from the 1970 film Yog, Creature from Space, aka Space Amoeba. Gigaton. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby crammed the pages of comic books with more than just the greatest superheroes in the 1950s and 1960s. They also crammed them with a slew of tall, lumpy monsters, many of whom emerged from the sea. Gigaton, the name of a whole race of giant whales with arms and legs who helped the Atlanteans invade the surface world starting in Fantastic Four number 4, published in May of 1962, is one of the most unforgettable of these seafaring brutes. Kraken. The Kraken is a prime example of a sea creature with a confusing name. The term originates in Norwegian and refers to an unhealthy or distorted beast, but it became famous when it was used for one of the main antagonist monsters in Ray Harryhausen's Clash of the Titans. The mythological Kraken resembles a giant squid, while Harryhausen's Kraken was a humanoid sea creature with tentacle-like arms and a fishy tail. The Kraken was depicted more mythologically accurate in the second Pirates of the Caribbean film, while the 2010 remake of Clash of the Titans featured a creature that was a hybrid of the two, with some crab-like elements. The Kraken in Clash of the Titans may have been influenced by the mythological Cetus, which is derived from the Greek word ktos, which means huge fish or sea monster. Poseidon retaliated against Queen Cassiopeia for saying that she and her daughter Andromeda were more beautiful than the Nereids, the sea nymphs who accompanied Poseidon, by sending the sea monster Cetus to destroy Ethiopia. An oracle advised the king and queen to surrender Andromeda to the beast in order to save their kingdom. They bound her to a rock, but she was freed. When Perseus killed Cetus in some versions of the story, he used Medusa's head to do so. Sounds eerily similar to the Kraken from Clash of the Titans. Cetus was later given the name of a constellation and appeared in the animated film Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas to threaten Sinbad's crew. Ottoia. From the giant octopus in It Came From Under the Sea to more recent creatures, like those in Megashark vs. Giant Octopus, the movies are full of giant, and not so giant, sea monsters. One of my favorites, however, is the creature that threatens the Argonautica in Stephen Sommers' Aliens Like Deep Rising from 1998. While one of the characters in the film speculates that the creature is an evolution of the Otoia, a form of Cambrian worm, the end result is more akin to the mythical Kraken described earlier. Cilla and Charybdis. Cilla and Charybdis are a paired pair that appear in Greek mythology, specifically the Odyssey. Cilla portrayed the hazards of the rocky shore, and was depicted in a number of ways, including as a woman with a dragon-like tail and dog heads sprouting from her body, while Charybdis represented a dangerous whirlpool on either side of the Strait of Messina. Between Cilla and Charybdis means roughly the same thing as between a rock and a hard place, and the two giants have given us an idiom that has survived to this day. Sirens. The Sirens are known for their lovely and enchanting songs, with which their names have become practically synonymous, and for luring unwary sailors to smash their ships against the cliffs. The Sirens plagued both Jason and the Argonauts, and Odysseus on their respective voyages in Greek mythology. Most representations of the Sirens depict them as part woman, part bird, but some more recent adaptations have taken a looser approach, such as the 2003 animated adventure Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, in which the Sirens are depicted as a kind of living water taking on humanoid form. The Terrible Dogfish. Geppetto and Pinocchio are eaten by a sea monster called Monstro, who is depicted as a giant sperm whale in Disney's 1940 animated feature film version of Pinocchio. The Terrible Dogfish, a colossal ocean beast also known as the Attila of Fish and Fisherman, plays the part in Carlo Collodi's original 1883 book The Adventures of Pinocchio. The shark-like dogfish, according to Collodi, is the size of a 5-story building, and has 3 rows of teeth in its massive mouth, which is large enough to swallow ships and, of course, Pinocchio and Geppetto. Jormunganda. Jormunganda in a screenshot from the video game God of War. Sony is the photographer. Jormunganda is also known as the Midgard serpent in Norse mythology because he is so long that he can wrap himself around the planet and catch his own tail in his mouth. When the Midgard serpent, the offspring of Loki and a giantess called Angerboda, releases its tail, it heralds the start of Ragnarok. Thor will fight a final battle with Jormunganda during the cataclysmic event, in which he will kill the mighty serpent only to die from its venom. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.